Internet, this portion of the Combat Jack Show is sponsored by Bevel, the superior shaving system designed for people with coarse, curly hair and sensitive skin. Right now, if you go to getbevel.com and punch in promo code COMBAT, C-O-M-B-A-T, you get 20% off your first purchase. Go to getbevel.com, punch in promo code COMBAT, like me, for 20% off your purchase. Stop fucking around and shave like a boss.
Get ready for combat. No escaping. Get ready for combat. Get ready for combat. Yeah. The Combat Jack Radio Show. Stand up.
Hey, yo, Internet, you tune into the Combat Jack Show, combatjackshow.com. I got the flu right now, so if I
Jesus, man, I didn't know that.
If I sound a little kooky,
clear away from you.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we already shook hands in the whole nine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, gave you the pound, everything. Zika. My cousin Zika's in the building. What up, King?
What's going on, Pimpin'?
Yo, man, listen. Every now and then, man, we have a guest that's such an honor, and I was telling him that over the years, what I measure somebody that I really appreciate is how many times I bought their albums or albums that they were affiliated with. So, you know, Stetsasonic, De La
Soul, baby.
Grave Diggers, Prince Amongst Thieves. Yo, Internets, let's welcome to the Combat Jack Show, one of the most prolific legends of our time, Mr. Prince Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, give myself a round of applause.
Yeah, what's up, Prince?
No, I'm good. I'm so glad to be here. It's been a long time coming, man, and that introduction is really good for my ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Nah, that's good, man. That's good. Yo, listen, before we jump into it, man, what does touche et lele pou mean?
You know what? I will expose that on the Combat Jack Show, and touche et lele pou is shut the hell up backwards.
Shut the hell up backwards.
Yeah, touche et lele pou.
Yo, listen, man. You started out as a DJ.
Yeah. I've been spinning since, it's going to sound crazy, since I was 10. That was 1977.
Wow.
And that's like small time. That's like, you know, kind of piecing stuff together and family stuff and in the room back in the days of Grandmaster Flowers and
wow,
Boyer
from Brooklyn.
Yeah, man. See, that's really like my first
Flowers.
Is Flowers.
People don't talk about Flowers.
People don't talk about Flowers. They don't talk about my boy. They don't talk about King Charles. They don't talk about a lot of the great DJs. It's the Bronx really kind of had more flamboyance,
yes,
you know, and the record selection was different and the MCs. But as far as my early thing was like just power, cats stacking up speakers, and those were the cats that kind of ran things.
Now, you started collecting records at 4 years old?
Man, I've been collecting records for a minute. My first record I bought at, I think it's like 4 or 5 years old, was James Brown, Hot Pants, and the same day I bought Groove Me, King Floyd, and it was at Mays Department Store.
Mays.
Yeah.
Yo, how were you buying records at 4 years old, my dude?
Because while, you know, people had the ability to buy, you know, wanted toys, I should say, I asked my mom, I was like, yo, I just want records.
Okay.
You know? I had a Mickey Mouse record player, you know, with the finger and the needle and stuff. And I wanted records. You know,
that's all crazy, man. So you were destined to do this, man.
I mean, in hindsight, it would appear to be so. You know, I mean, saying that, like, I'm just happy to be here. Like, I'm like, you know, I never knew I'd even be here on the show.
Right.
It's all appreciative. So looking back then, yeah, it's crazy. Amityville, Long Island.
Yo, were you traumatized by the Amityville horror, man?
Nah, because that was in the white part of the neighborhood.
Okay.
I lived in the black part of the neighborhood. So to be traumatized was by a place called The Block, which is Albany and Great Neck, and it was known as the drug capital of Long Island. Now that was
that was a horror.
That was my reality.
Right.
That was the horror.
That was a horror. So, Paul, man, what'd your parents do?
My dad was a truck driver. My mom did a few things. She worked in a department store. She was a nurse. And then when I was 9, my dad passed away. He's actually the one who introduced me more or less to like record collecting. He's a big jazz collector. So, you know, that was my whole thing early on. At the time I was collecting those records, 4 years old, was Coltrane, and all I remember Stallone song. I'm like, oh God, oh yeah. But now as I'm older, I can appreciate it more. But then, you know, you want melodies.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
It was about WBLS and WWRL 16.
Yep.
And,
So you're talking about how you was influenced by your father's record collection.
yes.
And also radio. at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, radio, I think what kids don't get now was really diverse in the 70s.
So diverse.
In comparison now, right? You got like the Bee Gees, and you got like
Stevie Wonder,
James Brown, Earth, Wind, Fire. Then you got
Ohio players.
Then you got Disco Duck.
Disco Duck.
It was all over the place.
Doobie Brothers. My favorite
Doobie
station
Brothers.
was WABC.
Oh, WABC.
WABC had all the diverse shit.
What?
So you're listening to the radio and you're getting this wide palette.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely helps you as a DJ and just as a music lover, you know, like now it's like, you know, I hate to go now, you know, and then, but, you know, it's all this all day, all this all day.
All rap, all day.
Yeah, everyth's kind of just chopped up,
Yeah.
you know, where I think back in the days, man, it was so cool because you had a little bit of everything and your appreciation of music was so vast.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Why don't they do that anymore? I guess.
Man, you know, we got smarter, I guess. Smarter. So let's compartmentalize everything, man.
Right.
You were listening to legendary DJs as well.
Yeah. You know, like my early, I guess, remembering DJs was like Grandmaster Flowers, DJ Hollywood, Pete DJ Jones, Maboya. I mean, that was like early. And then, you know, after that, you know, even in Long Island, we had DJs like Dollar Bill, Yago Dog, Pleasure Crew. And then over in Queens, I think it was Cypher Sounds, the Disco Twins.
Not the same Cypher.
Oh, no. The Disco Twins. And then, of course, everybody knows everybody from the Bronx, like Grandmaster Flash knows. And that, to me, was more of the bigger influence because they were like almost like comic book superheroes to me. It was like you hear the tapes and then you're like, whoa, what's this?
That's exactly what they were, man.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God.
Where were you, man, when you first heard hip hop?
Man, I don't even know because it wasn't even called hip hop.
Right.
Probably the first, it was probably East New York. My grandmother lived on Glenmore, so it was around that area. And all I remember is just big speakers and everybody just getting down. I remember the DJ then, and oh Jesus, I had to be around 9, maybe. It was real early. It's like, yo, what is this? Because being a music lover to begin with, and then all of a sudden seeing that in that capacity. Remember the speakers, like the wall of speakers and the power?
Yes.
And the Jamaicans always beat out everybody.
Yep.
What? They had the craziest sound system. They blow everybody out.
Man. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the excitement, you know? And I was like, yo, I want to do that. But back then, you remember, like, being a DJ meant how much power you had. Your skill level had something to do in your collection, but your power confirmed you being the best DJ at the time.
So you wanted power, huh?
Oh man, I was never getting power. So all I could do is at that point was just practice and collect my records. And practicing there, I don't remember scratching. Or I remember it was that was it. There was no
Right.
So I was practicing that, you know, and until I got good enough.
When you got good enough, man, what was your first professional gig, man?
If you want to talk about professional, that's probably with Stetson Sonic.
Yeah. Getting a check.
That's probably with Stetson.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was in high school, doing Sweet 16 parties with my man Newkirk.
Yes. You go back with Newkirk, man.
Yeah, that was my man 50. Well, still my man 50 Grand.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've known him since I was 14. We had a group called the Soul Brothers, and that's, you know, we was doing parties together, $50. You know what I'm saying? It was big money back then.
Big money, man.
Yeah, what? Doing, you know, a little school party, Sweet 16s. They hated us because all we did just rhyme and play breaks.
Yo, but how did you end up, like, you did a stint once DJing for Biz Markie.
Oh, man, Biz, yeah. I've known Biz since I was probably around that 14, 15. He used to come to the high school in Long Island, Annville High School, and we used to go to my house and make tapes, man. That was, man, I really wish I could find those tapes.
Oh, man.
And he used to come over and rhyme, and he actually, you know, still to this day we talk about it because one day he came by the house. Yo, Paul, can I borrow your God Made Me Funky? I can't remember the other records, but I remember that one in particular. back then I had a reputation for like, yo, Paul is nice. You know, it was like I didn't have the power,
Right.
but I had the skill.
You had the skill and the reputation.
And I prided myself on that. And we met. He used to come by the house. We used to make tapes, which I really wish we still had those tapes.
Right.
And that was the connection. The last time I remember that we made a tape, he borrowed some records, went to go to my man Divine's house. He'll make some a tape at Divine's. Let me borrow God Made Me Funky. Oh, Rock in the Pocket bootleg, and the flip side was Midnight Theme, and some other record I can't remember. And I have never seen him again. And that was 1983.
83.
Yeah.
Yo, how was a Young
84.
Biz? How was a Young Biz?
Yo, he was like a Biz now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, except thinner. You know what I'm saying? And the I'm really proud of him. I'm really happy for him because he deserves it, because he was getting teased a lot. Like, you know, when he made records like The Vapors, like I felt it in a different way because I've seen kids like laugh at him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
because of the way he looked at the time?
The way he looked,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, come on, this guy's rhyming. Like, nobody really took him serious. And
Biz was always dope, though.
Yeah. I mean, it was dope. And he told a lot of stories, too. So, you know, that made kids not believe him either. You know?
Right.
Oh, man, if you talk to Kane or anybody, like, Biz would just come with some random stuff. You're like, what? Yeah, man, this is Michael Jackson's car. You know, just like random, you know, you just couldn't believe. This is, see this rope I got on, I borrowed it from Luther Vandross. Just like stuff you just would never believe, and he would say stuff with a straight face. So it made his credibility kind of weird. Right. What I'm saying? But I guess it was all in goodness, you know.
Now, you also knew a young Rakim, man.
Yeah, back in those days, it was, he was with this group called the Love Brothers.
The Love Brothers. Yeah,
and that was in Wyandanch, and, you know, Anvil and Wyandanch was always rivals, so you'd bump into those guys, Chill, Daryl, Mitchell from Groove Beat Chill.
Yes.
He was out there.
Damn,
the DJ
Groove
Bilal.
Beat Chill.
Yeah, you know, it was a lot of us, man. And then if you go one out further east, it was I remember seeing Parrish from EPMD.
Right.
He was with Diamond J back then.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, you know, it's a lot of weird like history over there.
What is it about Long Island, man, that made the hip hop scene so vibrant?
You know, I think part of it too is not being from places like I'll go back and say this. A lot of the people from Long Island are from the 5 boroughs.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? And then you combine that together with hearing what the Bronx was doing, Queens was doing, Brooklyn was doing. You could only fantasize and make your own. You know what I'm saying? So you're like, man, they must do this, they must do that. So you're doing a super duper version of what they're doing.
So it's crazy because in a sense, feeling left out gave you guys the ingenuity to create shit that we never heard before.
And a lot of it was just overcompensating. Because like I said, we looked at those guys as superheroes.
Right.
Oh, if he got like, you know, I don't know, the power to fly, I'm about the power to fly and see through walls. And, you know, so you're trying to make yourself that much better and that much more creative because you just fantasize about how great these guys are.
Yeah.
They're beyond like belief.
How'd you get with Stetson?
Man, I was doing
Stetson Sonic.
I was doing a block party. I can't remember where in Brooklyn. And
was this the Brevoort Day celebration?
I think so.
DJ battle.
And I remember the guys who made Dynamic Dynamite 3, Can't Stop Till I Reach the Top. Can't. I don't know if you remember that song, but they were there. And I remember it was like a battle. And
you were in the battle.
I kind of ended up in a battle of the DJs. And that's kind of like, I guess you call it turntablism, like behind the back with the mouth and all that stuff. And I was showing off because I really, in my mind, back then, I thought nobody in the world could ever beat me. I thought I was that nice. And I practiced all the time. And, you know, and I caught the attention of Stet. And,
so you won that battle?
By the crowd's decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought I was really nice. Like, you can't beat me. I'm that good.
And you met Daddy-O.
Daddy-O approached me and he ran up, him and Delight. I remember they had beads on in their hair. It was long and they wore spikes. And it was like, yo, that's him. And I'm like, I'm not even from around here.
Yeah. What'd I do?
Yeah, and they were like, no, you the DJ, yo, the showmanship is what we need. Yo, this is Wise. Wise just joined the group like a week before. He won the Mr. Magic Rap Attack.
Right.
Over in Brooklyn.
Wow.
We got a deal with the prize was a deal with Sugar Hill Records.
Wow.
You know, and we need a DJ, and Fruquan wasn't down there. It wasn't down at that point. It was a guy named Grand Supreme, I can't remember. And DBC wasn't down at that point.
Okay.
So yeah, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'm with it.
So when they're telling you we have a deal, are you believing it?
I didn't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because making records wasn't in my reality. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and we're talking about like, I met them, 83 maybe?
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And making records was for like the Fat Boys,
right.
and LL Cool J came out with his first record. It was just beyond belief. It was so early.
Beyond belief.
Yeah, so it's like record, whatever. I just want to DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys got a group, you know, my group with Newkirk broke up. It was my man Newkirk and this guy named Mike Tellux, and we parted ways. I'm like, bet. I just want to DJ.
You just want to DJ.
Yeah.
Not knowing that you would really end up in a deal.
Not at all. Even when we made demos, it was like, yeah, we're going to make a demo. I'm like, cool. Like, I didn't know what a demo was.
Right.
So I was making demos and doing stuff for Tommy Boy before I even knew what was going on. I was signing a deal not knowing what I was signing.
Right.
It was that naive because it was just way out the scope of reality.
Right. How was the experience with Stetsasonic, man?
Man, it was the best times. I mean, in the sense of just everything being new, everybody being excited about the music. You was just ignorant to everything. You know, there was the music business side of it, the camaraderie, and I just thought Daddy-O was just so dope. Like, I would just watch him in his house, you know, his apartment, rhyming, and I would just be fascinated. Like, he was just so dope to me, and he was just so wise and so smart, and just the ideas of having we're going to put a band together. I'm like, whoa, that's
hip-hop
cool.
band.
Yeah, it's like
before the Roots. You guys were the first hip-hop band.
Yeah. We had, drummer, me, the DJ, keyboard player, and a human beatbox. So that was like yeah, people say that. Yeah, it's before the Roots. Yeah, I would say that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get no Roots check, but, it's okay. I know, right? I'll take that.
In Full Gear. Amazing album.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing album. Sally, talking all that jazz. Talk about the production or creating that album, man.
Well, when we did the first record, On Fire, it was everybody sitting down collectively kind of making things and, coming to the table with ideas. And then that one was a little more segregated.
Right.
It was like, okay, Paul, you make some beats, Daddy-O makes some beats, and, we'll all come together, blah, blah, blah. But the lines got blurred a little bit on some songs, and I always like defend this to the end, is that Sally was originally a remix for one of the records on Fire. So we recorded Sally way back when.
Right.
And I had got the sounds together. Fruquan programmed the drums, and then Daddy-O came with the concept.
Right.
But me and Fruquan never got credit. Talking about jazz, Delight came with the idea of using the sample. I mean that doom 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 doom. I had Newkirk play and I did the beat, but I never got credit.
Never got credit. Damn.
But I didn't care.
You didn't care
because I didn't know.
I mean, this is your internship.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Your internship.
I was just happy to be there.
Right.
But it gets weird when guys in the group. Man, that's a really nice coat. Man, what? How'd you get that nice bracelet and chain?
I'm hungry. Can you buy me some lunch?
Yeah, like, certain guys are a little extra,
right.
And then that's when I was like, whoa, I wrote that?
Right.
I didn't know. You
didn't know anything about publishing and songwriting
nothing,
or anything.
And nobody cared to explain it to me.
Right. So this light bulb goes off, and now you know what the deal is.
Oh, man, the light bulb goes off when you have a great lawyer.
Right.
And that was a gentleman by the name of Eric Greenspan. And he was out of L.A., and he was Ice-T's lawyer at the time, a few other people. And he sat down and explained to me from top to bottom. And that was and that changed my life.
Right.
That made the ability for me to sit here today and smile. You know what I'm saying? And not go, man, I'm crazy in these streets. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that helped a lot, man. And I listened.
So at the time, you guys were signed to Tommy Boy?
Yeah, we signed to Tommy Boy.
And Tommy Boy was kind of like popping. Tommy Boy was the label.
Yeah, Tommy Boy was doing well. I mean, they had Planet Rock, and then Stetsasonic, and then the Force MDs.
Force MDs.
But what really blew it wide open was 3 Feet High and Rising.
Yes.
And that changed Tommy Boy's, I guess, idea to even market records.
Right.
Because if you notice after that, their whole style of marketing changed. And a lot of that was based on De La Soul.
Right.
And that's what we brought to the table.
Right,
we came
right.
up with how we wanted to look.
Right.
What's the logo? What's this? What's that? And they were like, whoa, this is where the format we use for all the groups
Right.
now.
Yeah. Tom Silverman didn't want you in Stetson.
Nah, it was crazy is...
He wanted to fire you.
Yeah, he told Daddy, why do you have this DJ? Because when we went to record Just Say Stet, which we recorded in Tom Silverman's home because he had a studio in there, I knew exactly as a DJ what records I wanted to scratch. I had like these 3 records, and then I went to scratch them, and Tom was like, that's all the records he has? We're talking to Daddy-O. What kind of DJ is that?
Oh, man.
How come he didn't bring more? Why you even have him? And da-da-da, dissing me. But those scratches on Just Say Stet are to be a futuristic for 1985.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I'll rarely sit and brag about stuff, but as a DJ in the 80s, I thought I was really good. I was inventing a lot of things, man, that I never got credit for.
Right.
The scratches.
Right.
So, yeah, I was proud of that, and I'd like to think I shut him up, but then he wins in the end because he made a lot of money off it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So.
What record was Stetson? What Stetson record was it that got people robbed?
Oh, Go Stetson.
Go Stetson.
Put it on in the Latin quarters.
Yes.
And a fight would break out without
Automatically.
fail. Oh, what?
Automatically.
And you'd see people scampering and women and
what was it about the record, man?
It's just the energy.
Right.
As soon as she rant, people like and it just got crazy, man. It was like a mosh pit of violence. You know what I'm saying?
Buck 50, everything.
But it was fun. That's the first time. You look at like, this is crazy. You got to find your spot.
Yeah,
you don't get got. And it was cool because all the artists in the Latin quarters, there was a camaraderie. I remember Just Ice was telling me back then, and I thank him for this. He's like, yo, ain't nobody gonna touch you. I got you.
Damn.
I was like,
you knew you were safe.
Yeah, and I didn't know Just Ice like that. He was just mad cool.
Right.
I mean,
damn, that's how bad it was.
Oh, it was bad.
And you're the artist.
And I'm the artist.
You're the artist.
I'm the artist, man. Like, I mean, Latin Quarters was bad. I can't remember the club I was in, but one time I got a gun pulled on me and I got my chain robbed from me. And no, was it my wallet too? I don't remember. I didn't have nothing in the wallet,
right.
But I remember, and my chain was fake, to be honest. So they didn't really get away with much. It was just humiliating.
Just your ego. You had a bruised ego.
And you see some guys with some bubble gooses back there, remember with the furry collars?
Yep.
You know something wasn't good. Oh, never forget that. And I got robbed because I was sticking up for my friend like a freaking idiot.
Damn.
I'm all like 120 pounds at the time. Dummy. But hey, it was hilarious.
Hey, what do you do, man?
Yeah.
Said G worked on your album, on the Stetson album, right?
People say that, but no.
No, he didn't.
No.
Okay.
No, that I read that somewhere, and I was like, where'd that come from?
Right.
The only thing that I could say with Said G is that we used the same studio, and that was Calliope, because that's where Ultramagnetic was recording at the time.
Right.
So that's probably the only, kind of thing that I could see with Said G being involved.
So what happened to Stetsasonic?
What's weird is we did the last album was Blood, Sweat, and No Tears,
right.
And we just never came back together.
Right.
Like there was no call, there was no letter, the group is over, there's no I'm quitting.
Everybody just
there was no
just ran its course.
Yeah, there's no call back. Daddy-O didn't, call anybody. Delight, who to me were the 2 leaders of the group, and Daddy-O went off to do his thing, and I was working with De La, which was like a blessing.
Right. How did De La happen, man? How'd you meet those cats?
Oh man, De La happened a lot because of Stet.
Right.
I just didn't have the ability to. Stetsasonic was a great learning experience for me, and I loved those guys, and it was a godsend. But having a group that big limits you creatively,
right?
And you gotta understand, I was the youngest in the group.
So
those guys were a lot older than me,
right?
So I'm coming in with like 18-year-old ideas, and 17-year-old at the time ideas, and they're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
this is really what we want you to do.
Yeah. You know, a lot of scratches on the first On Fire album is Daddy-O.
Right.
Because I went to scratch, he's like, nah, it's too complicated.
Too complicated.
You gotta go band like Jam Master Jay.
Jam Master Jay.
God rest his soul.
Right.
You know, he would do it like this, and I come back and then my scratches are replaced. So like, what?
Damn.
I want to show how fly I am.
Right.
You know, so you know, with being limited like that, I have these ideas, and then you know, I met Maceo working on this project with a guy named Gangsta B. And that was furnished by our music teacher by the name of Mr. Eric Collins, who was played drums for the Isley Brothers.
Wow.
And so he had a label. He hired Gangsta B to be the first rapper. Paul is the guy around the neighborhood who makes records. Come bring your drum machine. Bring the drum machine to program a beat. Mace is there, and we're like, this isn't sounding that great. But hey, I have a group named De La Soul. Yo, whatever you want to do, we're down. I'm like, cool. You know, let me hear the demo. And the demo was a rougher plug tuning.
Damn.
And I was like, yo, this is incredible.
What'd you think of the name De La Soul?
I was like, it's nothing I never heard before. At that
Crazy,
time.
right?
Yeah, it was just, De La Soul to me was, everything's a godsend, but that was just like, it was a match made in heaven because just the way we thought. You know, like, I thought left, they thought left.
Right.
And it was like, yo, I can't believe that. And they respected what I did, and I respected what they did. And so to come together and take plug tuning and add stuff to it and have them come over and listen. This is what I did to your demo. You know, when you dubbed cassettes back in the days, you know. And it blew them away. And after that, you know, I became Plug 4. Yeah, man. I was the mentor of Plug 4.
And this was an opportunity where you're not being stifled right now.
Yo, what? Man, look, we did a song called De La Orgy, and that was just me going, hey, you know what would be funny? Let's all go in the booth and moan. And it was called a day. You know, it was that easy back then.
Right.
And it gave a chance for all my madness to kind of happen, and it gave opportunity for their creativity for me to kind of help them cultivate their ideas.
Right.
And that was important for me because I felt I didn't get an opportunity to do that in Stetsasonic.
Right.
So I vowed that when I worked with De La, we'd record everything and anything. And that's why those records were so complex.
Right. So dense. They were so dense.
What?
Man.
We put every idea. My whole thing is like, I'm not going to shut it down until I hear it first.
Right.
And I do that to this very day. Like, people like, you know, yeah, let's record whatever. And somebody like, nah, that'll be whack. I'm like, yo, let's record
Let's just record it.
If it's whack, we'll get rid of it.
Yeah, but yeah, let's record it.
Yeah, right. It doesn't hurt. And I don't see why people just shut things down. It's almost like a power thing, right?
Right, definitely.
So
now you were also heavily influenced by the Bomb Squad.
What? Who wasn't, man? Bomb Squad is incredible. I mean,
which is crazy because they were influenced by Marley Marl.
Yeah, they were a complex version of Marley Marl. I mean, and I'll go back to everybody was influenced by Marley Marl. Like, he sampled sounds. Like, what was that? Like, where you get that kick and snare from? Everybody's using DMX and Lindrum machines and 808s and 909s, but he had something that was totally new. And the Bomb Squad just, I don't know, that just blew my mind away. You know, Long Island guys, man. And I knew them before the records came out. And I was like, I know you was making stuff like this. It's crazy.
Crazy. So De La gets signed to Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
You guys get a budget of $20,000.
Yeah, it was like 25,000
to record the album.
Record the album and pay ourselves.
And pay yourself.
yeah.
Were you frugal with the budget?
I didn't know what frugal was. I didn't know what budget was. I just made the record.
You made the record
as cheap as possible.
Right.
You know, I remember I was still in the learning stage. I didn't know nothing about anything.
Right.
But they didn't know that.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I just made it for whatever the amount. We did those sessions, you know, that was 12 at night to 6 in the morning, the cheap ones. We buy our own reel of reels, you know, the 24 track tapes and whatever was cheaper, you know, because you bought from the studio, they bump up the price.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, we did that record fairly cheap.
Yo, talk about the freedom in sampling that you had back then.
Oh, man, the freedom was based on the fact that what's a law for sampling? Like,
well, there was no law at the time.
It was so new. Nobody knew. Even the technology of sampling was new.
Right.
So it's like, you know, we just went out there and just, yo, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. I mean, it was common knowledge.
It was a fucking smorgasbord
what? You could take
samples.
Every record or whatever. The one thing you just knew not to use was obvious things like the Beatles.
Yes.
And there's certain things you just can't really mess with.
Right.
You know? But other than that, yeah, we just took everything and anything and got really creative. Miss those days, man.
It's crazy that you can't make a record like that in 2016.
Nah, it's one. You got everybody, and as you know, you got a bunch of samples, and everybody wants 50%.
Right.
It doesn't add up when
Right.
a song is 100%.
Right.
You know,
Of course.
And people are like, I want 50, I want 50, I want 50. He's like, you can't work. Then don't use the sample.
Right.
So it gets weird.
Did you think 3 Feet and High and Rising would be so successful?
Not to the point of where it went. I told the guys, and it, because it's like being a coach to me.
Right.
Like,
You were the
man,
coach.
Yeah, yo, man, we're gonna go gold. But that's just to make it feel good. I never felt
Right,
gold before.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it just went way beyond everybody's expectations. Like, and it went faster than they were prepared for. Because if people remember, like, the early De La shows weren't as they are today.
Right.
People, like, they would be like, what is this?
Yes.
The record's amazing, but the show don't match up to
You know
the
what? I
records.
remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the shows being underwhelming.
Yep, and it took it was a long road for them, and they weren't prepared, and
Right.
that's why the second record, De La Soul's Dead, is a very angry record,
Right. Which is kind of crazy because we saw De La perform recently at A3C, and they're such masters right now.
Oh man, they got the crowd in the palm of their hand now. They know what to do. Everything is, they know each other, what they're gonna say, how they're gonna say it. It's amazing.
What was everybody's role in De La? Like, what was Dave's role? What was Pasta Noose's role? Maceo's role?
That's the cool thing. There is no role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is you bring what to the table, what you bring to the table. So it wasn't like you're an MC, I'm producer, I make beats, you do this. It's like everybody brought records in, everybody brought, whatever they could, add on. You could bring your homeboy. Who's your homeboy? Oh, that's my homeboy Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying? You could, whoever.
And that really happened.
Like, anybody was in the studio, you getting recorded. If you was there, you'd have been in one of those songs.
Wow.
So if you look at the credits, it's Red Alert, it's this person, it's that person, who's ever in the studio.
That's crazy.
And that's how I recorded, man.
That's crazy.
It was a family.
How fun was that, man?
It's like,
I mean, of course, nostalgia. When we look back, we think that those memories were better, but that had to be amazing.
All we did was laugh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then to try something, and then, that's crazy, it worked out. It was just,
it was an innocent time.
It was very innocent, and there was no pressure on us because nobody wasn't expecting much from us.
Right.
Label wasn't expecting much.
Right.
The crowd, I mean, people love plug tuning, but nobody was really like, waiting when that De La record dropped. So we was just really trying to just please ourselves.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yo, I just remember when Potholes in My Lawn dropped. Oh my dude, yo. The video was real artsy. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that video was called Low Budget.
Low budget, but it looked good.
It worked for the record.
Yes.
It worked for the song, and yeah, I mean, thank you, and that was that was good times, man. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy.
When we look back then, man, we kind of think that every rapper got along and it was like this big camaraderie, but that's not necessarily the case. You guys blew up, man. Did you guys create rivals? Like, did you guys have rivals?
You know what? It's not like today where, you get on, you get a Twitter beef with Kanye and Wiz Khalifa and everybody. I mean, everybody, our thing was like, hey, what's up, man? But I'm blowing you out on record sales and I'm blowing you out on stage.
Right.
More so on live show.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, if they didn't like you, they respected you. Mm-hmm. And that was the difference. Mm-hmm. I think, now there's more of a lack of respect. But, it's like, yo, you do your thing. Hey, cats might not have been, big into the Miami bass thing, but they respected Luke,
mm-hmm.
Because he did his thing where he did it. And that's wherever you went. The Ghetto Boys, like the early Ghetto Boys, and if you go to the West Coast, you had Ice-T
mm-hmm.
and then NWA, and it was nice, but there was really no like hardcore beefs that I can remember.
Right.
So
you guys usher in the Daisy Age. Shit is all happy. Why so angry on the next album? De La Soul is Dead. Because
the reality of success came in. The pressures of success,
which were what
came in, was like, I guess the guys, you got to be at a certain time. We expect this of you. You got to do this. Just,
completely different from the first record.
Yep, it came fast. You know what I'm saying? And wanting to do, we're like artistic guys, and they want you to do stuff that you really don't want to do. oh, you guys like daisies? Let's take a picture with some flowers shooting out your butt for this magazine. You're like, what? And everybody's pulling you everywhere and every which way. And
so you guys rebelled against that?
Yeah, because we just made records and music on our own terms. Right. And that was the beauty of it. And then people all of a sudden, weren't around when the times were hard and making the records, but when the success is around, everybody wants to put their 2 cents in.
Right.
How you could be more successful, or we helped you with the success. And it was just a weird time.
Right.
And the guys rebelled against it, man, I remember they were getting offers for like certain, like, I don't know, commercials and stuff, and they would turn it down. I'm sure in hindsight, they probably would have took it.
Right.
But we were just artsy guys. It's all about the music and hip hop and, what we love. Slightly off the topic, what I think kids don't realize is back in the 80s, to me, is like the civil rights movement. Because, we had to fight for the respectability of the music.
Right.
Because people were so much against it. I don't know if you remember, it's like, it's a fad. Nobody wanted to play it. Everybody
Frankie
hated
Crocker
it.
was like, nah, I'm not fucking with it. Yeah.
Everybody hated it.
Right.
So, creatively, we had to stick to our guns and kind of persevere and make it to be respectable to the point where now you can't live without hip hop. And I think kids don't really realize that. And that same thing with De La Soul. We stuck by those old values. It was like, this is what we do. We don't. Me, Myself, and I was a record that they didn't want to do. That was the last record on the album. So,
and I could see that because that's such a commercial record.
Yeah, and that was the idea. And now they're trying to push us beyond that.
Right.
And the cast were just really reluctant.
Right. So De La Soul is dead. You guys get 5 mics in the Source,
which was amazing.
That was big at the time.
But the Source gave it 5 mics, but the world at large gave it like 0 mics.
Right.
I remember seeing articles, De La Soul is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not a liked record because people were thinking of 3 Feet High and Rising, and it didn't live up to those expectations.
It was a completely different record.
Yep. Now, in hindsight, everybody's like, oh, it was great. But really, it wasn't like that when that record came out. It wasn't received like that.
Right. Internet's this portion of the Combat Jack Show is brought to you by Bevel, the superior shaving system designed for people with coarse, curly hair and sensitive skin. Now, Valentine's Day is amongst us, ladies. This is the perfect time for you to go out there and get your man that Bevel kit so he can be looking all nice and well groomed for when y'all do what y'all do on that Valentine's night evening. It's Valentine's Day. And fellas, stop fucking around. The ladies want the best from you. Get groomed up, man. Don't be no savage out here. Get groomed up. Go to getbevel.com, punch in promo code COMBAT, COMBAT, for 20% off your first purchase. That's getbevel.com, promo code COMBAT, COMBAT, 20% off. Stop fucking around and shave like a boss. And now back to the show. The third album, Balloon Mind State, which I have to say sonically is my favorite De La Soul album because it's so much musicianship in that record, man.
Yeah, it's like a grown-up record.
Yes.
Yeah, that at that point, even production-wise, I was laying back more. Every album I laid back a little bit because my idea was to let those guys take control of their own music.
Right.
My job was to teach them. And at that point, their ideas were maturing more. And if you notice, like, all the early stuff is real silly. That's just my personality.
Right.
But as time moves on, even to this very day, those records, they get more of
they get more intense, more serious. Yeah.
It's how they felt, you know. And that was a good start of where they were heading to.
Right.
And yeah, it's funny. It's a record that when it came out, it was, people like, but now, it's
were
like,
they?
Yeah, like people like Chris Rock's like, yo, that's my favorite record. Yeah. That's made me like De La Soul, and a lot of comedians like the right. It's weird, but when it came out, it was like, yeah, it's cool because everybody was into Tribe then. Right. And that was always the comparison.
Right.
It's no Low End Theory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was that's where you measured how good you are, especially if you're native tongue.
Exactly. And you guys are from the same tribe. And
and that was not a Low End Theory, so it was cool. That I'm saying that's what the audience is. Cool.
Right. How'd you get Russell on Saturday, man?
Man, because
Russell Simmons.
Man, he got Russell Simmons on Saturdays because De La Soul was popping.
Russell didn't do a lot of records.
Nah. It was just like, yo, Russell, we got Leor on Peace Parch too. It was like, yo, come down to the studio. we got this section for you, and he's like, yeah, cool, because everybody wanted to be a part of De La. It was such a cool thing to be, It's amazing when people like you, they really don't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
When you can't offer stuff anymore, people kind of
yeah, we're not fucking with you.
yeah, man.
How was it, man? Rush management back in the day, man.
Oh man, how beautiful was Rush management? You just randomly walk in there, you could see LL, you could see at any given time, like I remember when they signed EPMD.
Wow.
Beastie Boys. It was just crazy, and everybody's running around like it's just so bizarre. I remember when they signed Slick Rick. I think, man, yeah, that was crazy because he was having some problems at the time.
Right.
And he everybody was very sensitive around Slick Rick.
Right.
Don't agitate him.
I know, right? But Slick was very sensitive.
Very sensitive, man. Right. It was cool, and because the personalities were so big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Were you starstruck, man?
Yeah, pretty much. I was just like, because remember, I'm the DJ. Nobody respects the DJ or cares about the DJ. So, especially in Stet. So, when I'm around these guys, and if cats were actually nice to me, I was like, whoa, he knows who I am.
DMC is the nicest guy.
What? And Run DMC in general to me was always really cool with me. And Jam Master Jay, and it's funny, you remember those things, and I think that helped me become who I am, because I've never wanted to be that douchebag dude. There were a few dudes I'm not gonna name names, and you go, oh my God, that's such like, hey,
what's up?
Yeah, they might not even give you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is crazy. I actually name a name. I remember I met Herbie Lovebug. It was in front of MC Lights. I think it was her birthday party or something. And I remember seeing him outside. I think Spinderella was outside. She was really nice. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, I'm really a fan of your work. Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah.
Right.
and I said, well, let me explain who I am first. And I did that. I was like, I'm Principal. Yeah. Okay. Same thing with Kwame. Kwame did the same thing. Right. I remember it was the party for 3 Feet High and Rising.
3 Feet High and Rising.
Yeah. And I remember, because his record came out.
And it's your record.
It was my record.
It's your record.
But his record came out, and I loved that record.
Right.
His name is Kwame. Yeah. Whatever. I forgot the name of it. And I was like, yo, I love your record. I was like, I'm Prince Paul. I produced this record, da-da-da. He said, yeah.
That's crazy that you had to explain who you were. But arguably one of the biggest records, man, of the time.
It was new to me. You know what I'm saying? And still to this day, I'm humbled. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't supposed to be there. Like, I'm way beyond whatever my imagination was. Like, I was supposed to be taking a civil service test and becoming a postman. Right. In my eyes.
Is that what you'd be doing if music didn't happen?
Well, I graduated college and I went to go to actually for audio engineering, and I thought I was going to be a roadie. I was going to hook up equipment on the road and stuff, and worst comes to worst, like I said, to take the civil service test.
Of course, that's always there.
And become a postman.
Yeah.
And get an apartment, get benefits.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. And that, because
you'd be retiring right now.
Hey, because there was nothing in my family that was beyond. Nobody graduated college. Nobody owned a house. Nobody owned a car. I mean, like, bought a brand new. I'm the first to do all that.
What is your family saying with your career? What are they saying?
I think they were amazed.
Like your mom's is like.
Yeah. Well, my mom passed in 2007, and put like this, the first bit of money I made off of 3 Feet High and Rising, I wanted a Benz 190E so bad. I could see it was gray, it was kitted. And I bought my mom a house, and I retired her from that day to the day she died.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that was my goal, man. It was just her, and she just 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? And people always say, "I'm gonna give my mom a house." Well, I did that, and I made way more money to kind of do things. But
did you ever get that Benz?
No, and I'm glad I didn't, because service was expensive.
Right.
I had a couple BMWs, but
you used to collect cars.
Oh man, I had a few, man. One time, like an idiot, I had 5 cars. And a 1-car garage, so that wasn't sexy. But I grew up because insurance is expensive and maintenance is expensive.
Yep.
So I only got 3.
Yep.
Now
let's talk about the Cactus album, man.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh man,
Third Base.
Yeah, Search approached me and said, "Yo, we want to make our own Buddy, like the De La Soul record Buddy," and I was like, "Cool." And so I gave him. I said, okay, I got 2 songs for you. So I gave him Gas Face. So even though it sounds nothing like Buddy, that's where we brought in Zev Love X, who people know as MF Doom now. Yeah, and And man, I love being a producer back then because I was like, yo, there was no beat tape. There was no like, listen to this. Like, yo, you doing these 2 songs because that's how I hear you.
Right.
And that's how we recorded. And yo, that was fun. It was real quick. It was easy. You know, Search is a character, as you know.
Yes.
You know, blacker than me at the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. High top fade.
Yeah, you know, he's like, "Oh, what's up?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "Hey, man, you know, slow it down a bit, man." It's like, yeah, it's like, but yeah, and it was great. Those guys knew their business, especially Pete Nice. You know, really knew.
Like he knew his business.
Oh, I mean, knew his business in terms of like, you know, if I put this sample in here, that means I wrote part of the record. You know, it's like very smart and calculating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can't be mad at him for that, but there was like a lot of little things I could see them maneuvering,
right.
like even between the two, you know, and not nothing bad, but just like, yo, these guys really know what they're doing.
Right.
Like
right.
they're not coming in here like, you know, like how I did. It was like, hey man, just glad to be here.
No.
They knew the business,
right.
and that which made me learn it even better. You know,
that's crazy because I remember back then Russell was doubling down with Third Base because he wanted them to be the new Beasties. Was there pressure on you for that, man?
Nah, there was no pressure on me for that at all because I only did 2 songs,
right?
You know, and that's all I wanted to do. I think they would offer me more, but my thing is like, I'm just gonna be short and sweet. I'm gonna do whatever I think I could really maximize on, you know, and that's it. You know what's so funny? There was so many things offered to me at the time, and I turned it down for the sake.
Like what?
I mean, yo, B-52's Love Shack.
Yeah, right.
They asked me to remix it before it came out. It's like, yo, we just like, nah, I'm busy.
Wow.
Here you go. Black Cat by Janet Jackson. Hey, can you work on this song? Nah, I'm busy.
Really?
It was all for this.
Prince. You had opportunity to work with Prince.
Prince invited me to see Paisley Park when he signed George Clinton because they wanted me to, because I remixed the song for George Clinton. He'd come down to studios. Nah, man,
busy.
I'm busy. You know, it's.
Do you regret that?
No, because I like where I am right now.
Right.
I don't know where that would have headed me. It may be better. It might have been worse. But where I am right now, I'm proud of it. So that's whether good or bad.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you know, you look at like, that's cool. And I gave Daddy-O the Love Shack remix.
Right.
You know, but I'm just thinking like terms of like money. Like I didn't care about money too much. I mean, I never had it before. Whatever was there. But
you weren't doing it for the money. You were doing it for the props.
Strictly for the love. And that's dangerous because people will take advantage of that. And as time went on, I learned that. And even to this day, I'm cleaning up, you know, stuff that I've done in my youth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So not being aware, just like music, love music. Now it's just the opposite. People think of the money way before they think of the music.
Right.
It's weird.
How was it working with a young Zev Love X?
Man, it's working like a MF Doom. Well, the last time I seen him, he's the same guy. That's so beautiful about him. Like, he has not changed.
Right.
Like, he's very respectful. He's, you know, like, oh, Prince Paul, you know, like those guys were like in awe, which I was like me, which is even more amazing. But that's why they made the Gas Face refill. It's like, yo, Paul, what do you think of this? It's like a homage to Gas Face and da-da-da. And even when the last time I spoke to Doom, he's still, yo, Paul, what do you think? You know, he told me when he's going to do the Doom Pasta thing.
Yeah, talk about that, man.
I mean, he called me up and he's like, yo, I can't travel to all these places. And he ran down.
Why couldn't he travel?
I think part of it was like, you know, his family and certain things.
Right.
And then if you get 2 gigs at the same time or, you know, things just logistically couldn't do it. I'm thinking of this idea. I'm like, yo, that sounds crazy. I'd try it, see what happens.
Right.
Next thing you know, it becomes a phenomenon.
Right.
I'm like, people like, is it really him or not him? I was like, he pulled it off.
He really did it.
Yeah. Same thing with RZA, you know, like with Wu-Tang Clan. He sits in my house and like, yeah, everybody got all these little flavors and they styles. I'm put out the record myself. I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's get this Grave Digger thing popping. You know what I'm saying? And then in hindsight, I look back like, what? I wish I'd invested $10 in Wu-Tang Clan. That would have been a great investment.
Now, you've known RZA for a long time, man.
Known him for a minute. Yeah, since I did 3 Feet High and Rising. His manager was Mel Kwan. And Mel Kwan managed Sir Ibu as well.
Sir Ibu, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, because I used to tease RZA. I'm like, oh, you bet Ibu style.
Damn. Now, did you work on We Love You, Rakim?
Indirectly, I did, because that was a demo that Mel Kwan, I took him to Calliope Studios.
Right.
It was a demo, and I was showing RZA how to work the SP12. I was like, yo, This is how you do your kick snare, you sample, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, cool. And so I did I was like, I'm just going to like do a skeleton beat, like, you know, and then you could change it later.
Right.
But they used the same beat. And I didn't realize that.
Right.
And that became Ooh, We Love You, Rakim. Yeah, I knew him for a minute, man. I got demos, man, that one day I'll play, you know, that we did.
So you really could have been on the ground floor of the Wu-Tang.
I was there.
Right.
I mean, you know, those guys came to my house. I had a condo in Long Island, in East Meadow. And when we was recording the Gravedigger stuff, he would bring them by. They all came by in this MPV. And they're like, yo, bro, you know, my friends, whatever. Let's just get this Gravedigger thing popping.
Right.
I was all about music. You know what I'm saying? It was just all about music. I remember ODB and Genius, they talked to me inside because, you know, when we were recording the Gravedigger stuff, the demos, they were like, yo, we think about putting this group together with us too. You know, would you be interested in doing some music, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but let me do Gravedigger thing first.
Yeah.
And like I said, I look in hindsight, I'm like, Paul. You know, I was there when they did the first Method Man album. I sat in on the sessions. They were, yo, Paul, what do you think? You know, because guys looked up to me. I was, you know,
you were established.
I was established.
You were established.
I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but I gotta go.
You know
what I'm saying? And then this thing blew up, you know. But everything happens in according to the way it's supposed to. The universe doesn't make any mistakes. So I'm like, you know, who knows? And I toured with those guys. Right. Great guys, man.
Did you have any idea back then that Doom would be who he'd become?
No. And, you know, I think, man, I don't know, that guy's just so freaking brilliant. He reinvented himself hardcore. Right. You know how hard it is for an MC to reinvent themselves? Right. Producers could kind of change styles and kind of vary in certain things.
No, what he did was unprecedented.
Yeah, who else did that?
Right.
He changed his flow, his voice, everything.
The only other person I could think of is maybe 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz. I don't even follow 2 Chainz to even know that.
You know, from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz, but Doom still. With the mask, everything, man.
Yeah, and he made it work. And he wasn't whack at doing it. That's the crazy. Like, usually guys, there's some kind of whackness that's involved. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, it's a little suspect. But, yeah, he did it seamlessly and just did way better. He just, like I said, he deserves it. Like, very few dudes, I'm like, you know, but Doom, he's such a nice guy, like a good-hearted guy.
And talented.
Man. Like, he deserves it, you know. Right. Used to seeing, like, crappy dudes, like, kind of winning. So it's kind of nice to see a good guy kind of, you know, do something.
Gravediggers. How did that come about?
Man, Gravediggers.
By the way, 6 Feet Deep? Is that one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh man, thank you. That means a lot to me actually, because that record meant a lot to me in general because it represented like a hard time. Like, cats don't realize, they're like, oh yeah, you know, you got the RZA. The RZA wasn't the RZA when I made that. Like, I put that record together like in late 91.
So it came out years after you guys worked on it?
Years after.
Wow.
This was pre-Wu-Tang Protect Your Neck. Like,
wow, because I'm thinking because it came out after Wu-Tang.
It came out after Wu-Tang because nobody wanted to mess with it.
Right.
Because it was just such a bizarre record. I made that based off of, I had this record label with Russell Simmons and it was called Doodoo Man Records. And I just did, I had my man.
You weren't trying to win
Nah.
You weren't trying to win, man.
And they were mad at me. You know, Leor and Russell would call me up all the time. Yo, won't you start a label? We got this RAL thing. And I was like, this is how young and stupid I was. Like, I'll only do it if I could call it Doodoo Man Records. And I remember Russell going like this, yo, man, can you just call it like Prince Paul Records or something? Like, nope. The only way I'll do this.
What was the concept behind the Doodoo Man?
Because in junior high school, I used to doodle like exactly how you see the emoji now, like the little piece of doodoo. That's exactly what I used to like kind of just sketch out. You know, when you're scribbling, you just put a cape on the Doodoo Man. And that was the joke. Right. You know, it was amongst my friends. So I was like, yeah, because I didn't take it seriously. Right. You know, it was an opportunity for me to employ my friends. With the label was for me.
Right.
That failed. So, and then all the success that I had that came really fast, like I could do no wrong at one point. At one point, everything I touched was going gold. And that was a really good feeling. Like, what? Oh, gold.
Did that change you?
Gold. No, it changed me in the sense of it made me really confident. Like, I didn't think it was going to last forever. But I just thought I was that nice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And some of those things weren't even deservingly to go get that good. Now I listen back, I guess it was the times. And then, once I took the time out to do the label thing, I kind of dropped off. And that's when the Pete Rocks and the Large Professors and everybody started kind of coming up.
Right.
And I kind of lost time because I wasn't produced for people. I was so focused on this label that the songs never came out. So
did you regret having a label at the time, man?
Yeah.
Because that's work, man.
I didn't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. And you know, I sat there and, you know, it was good money.
If you're creative, you want to be creative. You don't want to run a label.
Nah, yeah, it was a lot harder than I thought.
Right.
And I remember sitting down with Russell one day, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, I know.
I could tell.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I'll have the, you know, the paper signed, and it was cool. He was cool, but it wasn't
dope,
stressed out.
man. That's dope, man.
Yeah, it wasn't no stress. I'm sure he wrote off whatever
Right.
he spent on me. But what came with that time was like a dark period because nobody was messing with me. They was like, Prince Paul, he's played out.
Right.
And I think what really hurt was Search was about to do Back to the Grill Again,
Right.
whatever the album is, and Search told me this. He might disagree, but I remember this clearly because it hurt my feelings. Because he's like, yo, I went to Russell, and I told Russell, was like, yo, I want Prince Paul to produce some of the record. And Russell said, Paul? Oh, man, he's played out. Why you want to get him?
Man.
So I'm like, wow, I used to sit in his room, in his house, and
Right.
he used to praise how great I was. That was about 2 years ago.
Right.
Now I'm wow.
Now you fell off.
Yo, I would call MCs. I'm not going to say names and people I work with. Yo, I'm working on whatever. Cats would never call me back.
Right.
I was like, yo, this is real.
I fell off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like this is real. Like I'm not worth anything. So Gravediggers was just me reaching out to cats who I thought was going through a hard time. I was like, yo, we're gonna put our superpowers together. I got Poetic,
Yes.
who was dropped from Tommy Boy. He did a whole album. He's from around the way, Long Island dude. Fuquan, he parted with Stetsasonic. Him and Daddy-O got into a beef. He was in the group Noir. He was making clothes or something at the time.
Like he had a brand?
Nah, he was out of his house. He was making clothes.
Clothes.
You know what I'm saying? He was just trying to get it together,
Right.
you know, because he made clothes as well. He wasn't really rhyming anymore. And then you had RZA, who did Ooh We Love You Rakim, and
Right.
people kind of laughed at him because like, yo, he got a top hat on. Cats was clowning him. He got dropped. He was in some legal problems at the time, which I'm not going to talk about. So he wasn't in a good place.
Right.
So all these guys were just like, we was all bummed out. And I was like, yo, and they never met each other. Invite them all to the house. Like, yo, as individuals, they think we're corny, but as a collective, we're going to show them how nice we are.
Right.
And that was the thing. And so that's what I said that record means a lot to me because it was us coming together to make a unit that would be respected.
How did you and RZA work together, man?
It was good back then because, you know, me and RZA both, I like to say like alpha males in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But he wanted to learn. Like he would sit there and ask me tons of questions, like how do I work this? Or how does this happen? Or why you do this? And so it was cool. And I learned a lot from him because he didn't, where technology was becoming a important part of production and people, computers and the grid and this and that, his thing was so freestyle, it made me kind of go back to the beauty of just making music out of your heart and not looking at a computer or looking at a time signature on a drum machine.
Right.
So we kind of helped each other. So it was kind of easy. I would tell him what to do and he'd do it.
Right. And it's funny, man, because when you listen to that record, man, you hear elements of what would become Wu-Tang.
Yeah. I was very strict on RZA. Yeah, and you know, Graveyard Chamber and all those other songs. That was his style, man. And that's when he was using the Ensoniq, the ASR-10 had just came out. We was using the EPS. It was so much fun, man. Like the hard part of it is at the latter part of making that record. RZA put out Protect Your Neck and it was starting to blow up. So it was just a matter of getting him into the studio.
Right.
You know, so I was, you know, I have the other guys record their parts and I have him come in whenever he could come in and record his part. And that was the difference towards the end of the record. But that record meant a lot, man.
Why did that record not do better than it did?
One, to go back is, you know, I said I put the group together in end of 91.
The album came out in 94.
94, because I tried to shop it. Everybody thought this is a gimmick. This is a gimmick. You know, remember, everybody's real sensitive because of, you know, people forget about Hammer and Vanilla Ice. You know, it's like gimmick, real hip hop, gimmick. So, you know, labels were like a little skeptical. You know, I brought it everywhere. I brought it to Russell Simmons later on, which he put out Flatliners, which was kind of ironic.
Right.
But and everybody just turned me down. So imagine you making a record that you're like, we're gonna pull our powers together because everybody thinks we're whack, and everybody's going, you're still whack, even as a collective. So what, that hurt, and it took all those years for G Street to pick it up. You know,
man, I used to listen to that record daily, and the only thing that knocked that record from my playlist was when Big Ready to Die dropped.
Oh,
and I was like, oh,
that's a classic record.
Yeah.
And that's what changed everything for us, is that, you know, we were in the days of like, now remember I did that in 91, so I'm influenced by it.
And it was so fresh in 94.
Man, if it came out in 91, was supposed to come out, I think it would that was the time.
If it came out in 91, it'd been crazy. It'd been so ahead of its time.
I was thinking of NWA, Niggas for Life. I was in that vibe. I was in that, like, you know, and by
Sonic Layers and soundscapes and the whole nine.
And Biggie ushered in, along with Craig Mack and Puffy, just a new time,
right?
You know, and it was a little more palatable than, you know, Gravediggers, which, like, well, what's, you know,
is this horrorcore?
Yeah, exactly. So,
which it wasn't, but it got lumped up into that whole horrorcore.
Yeah, that
genre, subgenre.
That's Havelock Nelson. I remember he came in, Havelock Nelson, a writer, and he's like, what do you call this sound? He came up to G Street's offices. I was like, I don't know. He's like, I'm going to call it horrorcore.
It was Havelock.
Yeah, and I was like, no, don't do that.
He did.
And he looked at me like, I'm going to do it.
He did. Damn. Yo, listen, Paul, let's go to a break, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Internet, so you tune into the Combat Jack Show, the CombatJackShow.com. We got Prince Paul in the building. F your radio, F your TV show, and F your podcast.
Yo, internets, you're now tuned in to Combat Jack Show. But we about to take a pause because it's about that time.
What time?
It's survey time.
What time?
Survey time.
Survey these nuts.
And we try.
Nah, don't survey these nuts.
Nah, we trying to get to know you guys out there, our loyal listeners and our fans who rock out with the show. We trying to get to know you, and to do so, we need you to fill out this quick survey. It won't take more than 5 minutes, and besides helping out the show, you'll be entered for a chance to win a $100 iTunes gift card.
$100?
$100.
What you gonna buy with that?
Not $99, not $89, $100. We know some of you may have already done surveys like this in the past, but we really need you to log in and fill this thing out as accurately as possible. Once we know more about you, the listeners, we'll be able to help deliver the show and sponsors you dream about. Finding sponsors who are a good fit mean we get to give you deals and information on the brands you care about while keeping the show free to enjoy every single week. And if you don't care about helping us or making the show better, do it for the chance to win a free iTunes or Amazon.com gift card. Won't you? Do it for the culture.
Yo, Tumbo, what are you buying with that gift card?
Man, I'm just trying to spend this money.
Word, Mika, what are you buying?
I'm buying all that music. And what?
Syph?
I'm buying all the latest trap music.
Jorts on Amazon.com.
Jorts.
Make sure you head over to tcjssurvey.com.
Again, that's tcjssurvey.com.
Get that gift card, buy some jorts, a do-rag, and something for your girl.
Hey, yo, internet, you're tuning into the Combat Jack Show, the CombatJackShow.com. We got Prince Paul in the building.
That's right.
Prince, man, on top of all these projects that you're working on, man, you're doing some great records, man, for some icons, man. How was it working with Kane?
Whoa, Kane, that's my man. Love working with Kane. You know, he's one of those guys, like I said, that you meet and he's just mad cool. Like, he's always the same person. Yes. And I like that. You know, regardless of what the success is, he's always a cool guy. And that's how it was working with him. Like, he's very respectful. Okay, what do you think? Blah, blah. You know, some arrogance in being an MC and knowing you're nice. But at the same time, he takes direction. And I like that. And that makes us work well together.
He took direction from you?
Yes. And that,
with regard to what?
Just like, hey, man, you do that over. Do it slower. Do this, do that.
Right.
You know, and he's good with that. Matter of fact, we had a conversation. He called me up out the blue sometime last year. And he was like, yo, Paul, what's up? I'm like, hey, what's up? You're like, what you calling me? Man? I mean, it's good to hear your voice, but he's like,
what's up, Kane?
Yeah, he's like, yo, he's like, it's funny. He said, I did an interview, and he's like, somebody asked him about favorite producers to work with, and he said he mentioned my name or something along the line. And he said Paul is the only producer to ever tell me no.
Wow.
And I was like, does that mean I'm gonna get shot or something? You know,
Right.
he's like, no. He's like, he respected that because with Kane or anybody I work with,
But how do you tell Kane?
I'm a fan.
How do you tell Kane no?
Because look, if you're a fan of somebody,
Right. You want them to win.
you want them to win, and you hear them a certain way. You can't hear them less than what they
Right.
should sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it affects me as a producer, and it obviously affects you. You know, you love them. It's like your children. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to belittle him, but just to give an example, you don't want to see him get hurt. You
Right.
know, you want to let's make this work. And I care about the music enough, and I hear you a certain way. You should never sound less than stellar.
Right.
Because I only know you as raw. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I would no, again, nope, again, nope, again, nope, again.
Was he getting frustrated?
Yeah, but it's for the greater good.
Right,
It wasn't
right,
like I was being a douchebag.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? It's like, let's get it right. And that's when we did Count Macula on the last song we worked on. I had to do that, and I did that a lot on Count Macula for Prince Among Thieves.
Yeah. What about KRS-One? Sex and Violence.
What? Oh man, KRS-One.
Did you say no to him?
You know what KRS-One did?
What?
He KRS-One would come in. It was him and his boy Willie D. I remember,
Mhm.
and he'd have a book of rhymes, and he was like, "Let me see how this rhyme works on this beat." Nah, that won't work. Going through the page. How about this rhyme? Like he had stacks of rhymes, and I remember saying, "Hey, all right, cool. We did the skeletons of this beat. You got like rough with the vocals. Let's come back and let me finish it because it's not done." And then the next time I heard the record, it was on the record.
Right.
So I never finished it. So I get a chance to tell him no because
Right.
he never gave it back to me.
Right,
so,
right.
But he later on apologized, which was nice of him. You know what I'm saying? Because I was hurt. Because I was like, man, this isn't
You
representative
didn't
of what I
let
do.
me finish.
Yeah, it was, he's an alpha male.
Right.
And that's what it is. I know what works for me. you know?
Exactly.
And, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. Like, he works hard, man. And he's a real MC in terms of like, I'm not going to name names, but I was like, yeah, man, I'm working with such, I'm just working such, he's corny. He's whack.
He's whack.
Why is he even rhyming?
Yeah, that's some MC shit.
Yeah.
Everybody else is whack.
What? I like that. I love that, man. What? This is dope. People don't do that anymore. People like, I make more money than him,
Right,
but they don't
right.
care about skill.
Right. They're not, he's whack.
Yeah. Oh, what? It was beautiful.
How was it working with Cypress Hill, man? Latin Lingo.
Oh, Latin Lingo. Yeah.
Great record, by the way.
Oh, thank you. With that one, they just gave me the tracks, so I didn't get a chance to actually sit in the room with them and work on it. I know Muggs. I remember him from 783, and I did some tracks for 783. It never came out. Like the record never came out. And I think he was more instrumental in getting me to do that, than anything else. And it was cool. It was an honor. It's funny.
Right.
I forgot about that record.
And Slick Rick, man. How's it working with Slick?
Man, Slick Rick has to be, to me, like the best, not the best MC, but like the most intriguing MC I think I ever worked with.
How
Because
so?
it was in the middle, it was during the time when he had that little time out of jail,
Right.
when Russell had him out recording. And
Right.
he was recording a lot because they were
Right.
trying to get as much done because they knew he was going to be in for a while.
Right.
Let's get as much recording done. Man, it's almost like, remember how Luther Vandross would just sit and sing effortlessly, or either like a Patti LaBelle, and you see some people like, oh, they're straining. Well, Slick Rick is like a Luther Vandross when it comes to rhyming, because he would sit back like it was nothing.
And rhyme effortlessly?
Effort like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, okay, give me another track, blah, 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 blah. On time, everything. All right, give me another track. Because he's talking to himself. You know how he rhymes.
Right.
But I was like, yo, this is amazing. Like it was nothing. On a stool with a cup of coffee in one hand, book in the other hand. I was like, oh, this guy's like, it's like, it was nothing to him. Where I see MCs that like, all right, punch me in after it. He was just like,
That's crazy.
I was like, yo, I've never seen anybody do it. Like, and I've worked with a lot of great MCs, and not to like, belittle their
Their prowess.
Yeah, exactly. But he just did it in a way that I just never seen it before.
Wow.
And that stuck with me to this day, I'm like, yo, I've never ever seen that.
Right.
You know, I wish I could film some of that.
I know, man, right? The documentary. That'd be crazy.
What? Well, yeah. That would be crazy.
Then you start venturing off, man, and you start working on these, I don't want to say weird, but you start working off these off-track projects, man.
Oh, yeah, that's me, man.
Handsome Boy Modeling School.
Handsome Boy.
What is Handsome Boy Modeling School, man?
Hey, man, it's the soundtrack to A Beautiful Life, man.
Right.
You know, it's me.
Love that record, by the way.
Thank you. Me and Dan the Automator.
So, how's your girl?
Yes. Yeah.
Yo, that's so disrespectful, man.
Yeah. By some handsome guys with mustache.
Right.
Who'd have thunk it? Yeah. Yes, me and Dan the Automator, you know, we got together. He was doing Dr. Octagon at the time. I did this record called Psychoanalysis. You know, it was better than a psychologist and a doctor. You get together, and our common bond was Get a Life, a show with Chris Elliott that was on Fox. That was very short-lived, and we would sit there and as two geeks and talk about the show. And, yo, remember the one, Handsome Boy Modeling School? Ha, 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 ha. Yo, let's make a group called Handsome Boy Modeling School, just jokingly. One day he calls me up at Tommy Boy office. Yo, we're going to make a record with Tommy Boy called Handsome Boy Modeling School. I'm like, what are you talking about? Apparently, he told them that we had a group called Handsome Boy Modeling School, and we was working on it, and they wanted to do the album. So it was a joke that we had to kind of live up to. Now we had to make the music.
Right.
And we just took it from there. We just had fun with it. So
great record, man. The first record was a great record, man.
Thank you. Yeah, we pieced that together in San Francisco. 2 MPCs sitting in his living room watching TV. Is that handsome? I think that's handsome. Is that handsome?
So was that what had to be? Was that the qualifier?
Oh yeah, that's it, man. You had to sit there. I mean, you could tell. It's like, man,
is that handsome?
Could I have
that's not handsome.
Could I have tea with that? Does this beat go well with a suit? You know what I'm saying? So we try to get that vibe.
Right.
You know.
The second record, White People.
White People.
What were y'all trying to do with that record, man?
Well, it's funny. I think with that one, we were more trying to, I hate to use commercial, but it was like, okay, we're going to make this a little more accessible.
Right.
Than the first record. And I think like in hindsight, like I think it's a good record, but I think what fell short is some of the bizarreness of the first one. There's an innocence in the first record
right.
that I think was kind of lost. But to me, it was fun because I got a chance to work with Pharrell. You know, oh man, it's funny. So many people. Ladies Man. Oh, I can't remember his name now. So there was a lot of cool people, you know, and I have to give a lot of respect to Pharrell because he did that without asking for anything.
Wow.
You know, he was just like, yo, Paul, I'm a big fan. I love your work and blah, blah, blah. And we just randomly recorded him at the backstage of one of his shows because he just didn't have much time. He's like, yeah, all right. Here goes headphones, portable recorder. All right. And he's singing his parts.
That's crazy.
And it's like, yeah, so what do you, no, don't worry about it. I'm like, look at that. And then you get like a guy, and I'm like, name names. It's like, yo, when's that check coming in?
Yeah.
Yo, when's that check coming in?
Where's my check?
Yo, what's the check?
Yeah.
I said, what's up on your record? I need that check.
I need that check, man. Yeah, how is it, man, how does it feel, man, where these young producers come up to you, man, and they tell you that you're an inspiration to them, and then they become the Pharrells? Like, how's that feel, man?
I mean, it's, you know, for me, it's nice, you know, it makes me feel like I actually did something important. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, I think as an artist, you want your music to affect someone's life in a positive way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it sounds cheesy, but you're like a soundtrack to their life. You know, man, I got punched in the face when your record came. It's something, you know, this happened. I met this girl. I was at the club, or I remember this. And it's nice when somebody's like, yo, your music inspired what I did. But I think even greater for me, I like it when my kids see things like Pharrell, because that happened. Like he was in front of my kids, and he was going on about it, and my son was like, Dad? Really? Him? You know what I'm saying? It's like, he likes your work.
Right. Pharrell.
So that made me more proud than anything else, is that it gave a chance for my kids to kind of see the impact of any, you know, more so than anything. So I'm dad around the house.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
You worked on 3 Chris Rock albums.
Yes.
How was it working with Chris Rock, man?
Man,
what is that process even like, man?
sitting around and just laughing with a bunch of comedians. Yo, Paul, what do you think? You think this is funny? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's cool, but what about, maybe the punchline here and how we... So it's just sitting around with writers, himself, and we're just like, just coming up with jokes and ideas, and it was so much fun. The work part of it, which is heavy, is the editing, because it's a lot of dialogue, and that's not fun, because it's like, it's not like where Kane, do it over, and get it right. It's like, Paul fixed it in the edit. And now I got it's like almost like I can see when somebody makes a movie, got like hours of film. Right, I got to cut through all the hours of film until it comes into something more cohesive. But other than that, it's great, man. I wish all my records were like that. The DreamWorks was great to work with. They love Chris. Whatever he says goes. It was just so easy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
now,
I get to hire my friends. It's beautiful.
What's the story about you not getting the executive producer credit, so you not getting the Grammy?
Oh, it was for the last record,
right?
Because all three of them won Grammys. It was the last record, and in my contract, because I guess the first two records did so well, it was like you're gonna get executive producer credit for the last album,
right?
And I'm like, bet, that's like a big deal, because that shows people how nice I am. Not just the producer, but I
produced.
Yeah, man, I ran everything.
Yeah,
so. It comes out, apparently there's kind of a flub in the credits, and then they go, oh, we forgot to put it on this one. We'll do it on the next run. But it's a comedy record. Right. There's no next run.
Right.
They're only going to make like 50,000, 100,000, whatever, unless it like really blows up.
Right.
And I lost that on that credit, man. That hurts me. It hurts me. It would look nice. I mean, I'm happy with having produced. I'm happy, that the records all won Grammys, but I like that credit for my legacy. Legacy to me is important.
You want the Grammy, man.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, you want that, man.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful, but it is what it is, and I don't know. I'm really at peace with where I'm at. I mean, there's a lot of things like, man, I wish I could have did this, I could have did that.
But you have to be at peace. I mean, all the stuff that you've accomplished, you can't look at the stuff that you didn't accomplish.
Yeah, a lot of people do look at that they don't.
Yeah, but that's not healthy, man.
Nah, it's not. I mean, for years, man, like when I made a lot of those records, I was depressed. Like when I made 3 Rise and when I made,
what do you mean depressed? Like depressed?
Yeah, I mean, because it was just one, as an artist, especially young artist, you put a lot of demand on yourself. Right. One, I didn't expect to be there, but once I was there, it's like, how do I stay here? And then, how do I please the masses, but most of all, please myself and still have a job? So there's a lot of thinking going on, and then you have, oh man, don't throw a girl in there. Oh my God, now she's stressing you because she wants time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lot of things at the same time. It was a lot of pressure, and I just never thought I made my best record. Like, 3 Feet High and Rising comes out. I'm thankful. I'm like, but it's not my best record. I said, I've yet to make my best record.
Wow.
So, it's an ongoing, process of trying to get there, and when you're young, it really affects you. As I got older, I came to more peace with it. Now I don't feel that way, but for all those early years, as goofy as those records are, I did it being depressed.
Right. Wow.
So which is crazy. They're goofy, but I was depressed at that time.
Prince Amongst Thieves.
Oh yeah.
Amazing record, man.
Thank you.
Amazing record. And not only are you producing this record, but you are directing this record, because you have artists on that album that have roles as they're actors / artists, and you're directing them. How was that, man?
That was difficult because the process of that is I wrote that on tour. Like part of it I wrote on tour and part I wrote in the library. And as I wrote it, I had the ideas of who I wanted to play the parts. But obviously these guys aren't actors. And at the same time, it's such a hush-hush idea that I'm trying to make this record, at least to me. Like, I want nobody else to try to make the same thing at the same time. So when I got the people to come in to play the parts, which thankfully a lot of them were able to do it, I never gave them the full script. So they only read the parts they're supposed to read, and I edited the whole thing from top to bottom, line for line for line for line for line, because I didn't want people to know what the story was or what was going on.
Right. Like a real director.
Yeah, man, that was hard because I didn't have Pro Tools.
Right.
I did it on a sequencer.
Wow.
On an ASR and this program called Master Tracks, which is just a sequencing program. And it took a long time to put that together. And I had guys do the lines over, say that again, but say it like this. And I had to take the best lines and piece it and the sound effects. It was a labor of love, man. You know, I seen a lot of nights turn into days. You know what I'm saying? Working on that. But yeah, it was cool. And what was good too is a lot of people I got working on it, you know, was people that people weren't checking for at the time. You know what I'm saying? So that made it cool too. You know, I really wanted to at the time. This is a story I haven't told people. Is I wanted to get Biggie.
Yes.
To play like one of the main characters. And I remember I was doing, it was the Gravediggers' second record. We was doing promotions in L.A. And I remember he just got into an accident. It was Little C's. And I remember he had a cane. And we was doing radio together with the Gravediggers. And I remember meeting him. And I'm like thinking I'm about to make this record. I should be talking about this. I'm about to make this record. So here it is. I'm like, I know you're going to be around. I want to talk to you about something. Where are you going to be? I'm going to be at the Soul Train Music Awards. You know what? I can't get in, but I'll meet you there. I did some music. It's the idea I want to talk to you about. I don't know if you took me serious, but hey, whatever. I got caught up hanging out with this girl. And I was like, I'll meet him some other time. I get a call from Newkirk. Yo, Biggie got killed. I'm like, what?
What?
Where? At the Soul Train Music Awards.
Right.
It's like, I was supposed to have been there.
Right.
Thank God for that girl. And I spoke to her not too long ago. I was like, thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, because that was my mission, was to go there. Now imagine stupid Paul at the truck going, hey, here goes the tape.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, not saying that was the case, but he was one of the people. I wanted to get Chino XL to play a part.
But Chino had been blackballed at the time.
And yeah, Chino, you know, and I spoke to Chino. I spoke to him on the phone because I was a big fan. I love what he did. But every time I mentioned the cats I wanted to get him, they got mad at me. It's like, oh, I don't get him. I was like, man, I can't get people to co-sign it. So I was like, And then I asked Lou Rawls, and his manager shot me down.
Right.
He's like, I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I said, what'd you work on? I said, I did this Chris Rock record. Chris Rock? He's not funny.
Damn.
But you know who's funny?
Sinbad. Damn, that's crazy.
Now, he's a comedian.
Damn.
And just based on that, he said no.
That's
he didn't even run it by Lou Rawls.
Right.
Because I wanted to sing Mood for Love.
Right.
I asked Vanilla Ice, his manager shut me down.
Right.
So there was a lot of people, you know.
That shut you down.
Yeah, they shut
But
me
there's
down.
a lot of people that are on it, man. I love Everlast's role.
Oh, Everlast. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a racist cop.
Oh, he was really touchy. He was like, Paul, you sure? I was like, you're acting. Trust me, it's acting. You got to trust
because
me.
he didn't want to ruin his reputation.
Nah, not at all.
Right.
And I can see where it could be touchy. But you know, he did his job,
Right.
man. I was really proud of him, man. Like, and he trusted me, which is even better. And he said he plays in his shows when he does it.
That's crazy, man. Talk about psychoanalysis.
Oh man,
Psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis was a point in my life where I thought my career was over.
Right.
And
it's a record about depression, right?
Yeah, I gave up on life, you know, more or less. Okay, there's a few things that happened that led to that. The Gravediggers didn't do as well as I thought it would do, you know. I started working with De La, which was like, you know, depressing.
Why'd you stop working with De La?
Oh man, it was, you know, it's when people make it out to be like this big like breakup, like we wild out. It was just simply like a creative difference, and it ran its course. You know, I was still on some like, yo, if it feels right, it's right.
Right.
And they were on like, if this record doesn't hit, our career's over. So I'm an organic producer,
right.
You know, and that's where we kind of just didn't work out.
Right.
I was going through a custody issue with my son at the time, and there was no light in the tunnel for making music. I was like, this is it. It finally ran its course. And so a friend of mine said, hey, I'll give you an opportunity. I'm starting this label called Word Sound. Make whatever record you want. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. It's like, yeah, you're good for concepts. Think of a concept. And I made Psychoanalysis. I called up some people, some MCs. I won't say any names.
Right.
Nobody would call me back.
Right.
So I got all my high school buddies, made this record that I knew that would just and my career. We talked about date rate. We talked about everything.
Yeah.
And it resurrected my career, ironic.
Yeah. And a date rape song.
Yeah.
Was it a beautiful night for date rape?
Yeah. It's a beautiful night, man.
You got into the crosshairs of C. Dolores Tucker.
Oh, that was during the Gravedigger time.
Oh, it was Gravedigger.
Oh, what? I see my picture on TV.
Right.
I was like, what? With the Gravediggers. I was so happy. I made it, man.
Right.
You know, we was on a hit list.
Right. So psychoanalysis brings you back?
Yeah, it was a weird thing. It's like people like that record. Like that made Chris Rock call me. That was my hookup with Dan the Automator, and that was also Tommy Boy saying, "Hey, we want to put a record out with you." And that's how I did a Prince Among Thieves. So it resurrected my career. A weird record that I'm going to do every possible thing. If my career's over, I'm going to go out with a bang.
A bang, right.
Yeah, I'm just going to just make the wackest record
right,
ever.
Right.
You know, and with just all my high school friends. And I guess it wasn't meant to be because everything started back up.
Right.
You know?
The politics of the business.
Oh, politics of the business, man.
You were angry then.
Yeah, I was angry, and it was based on a conversation that it's based on a conversation I had with Tom Silverman. And I remember that, you know, I was upset because they wouldn't promote a Prince Among Thieves. Like, I couldn't get a T-shirt.
Right.
I couldn't get anything. But meanwhile, like, Sex Mob got $1 million.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but I made you guys money in the past.
Right.
Is there some type of loyalty?
Yeah.
Music business is a big learning lesson for
There's
it,
no
just in
loyalty.
life in
There's
general.
no loyalty.
So I was like, you know, so I was hurt, you know. So he's like, singles sell records. What you made isn't won't sell. I was like, all right, sarcastic. I'll make a record full of sarcastic singles. And that's what I did. And people took it the wrong way. Oh, Paulie's trying to change his sound. He's trying to do whatever. But I shouldn't expect the audience to know what I was doing.
Right.
And it was a sarcastic record. And Tommy Boy folded. And Warner Brothers took the catalog. Warner Brothers said, we don't have no parts of this record.
Right.
And I put it out on Razor and Tie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. That record,
Yeah. Yo, what's Negroes on Ice?
Oh, Negroes on Ice is me and my son, DJ P for real. It was just a kind of a fun thing that we did. It was like a day in the life of my son. It was supposed to be like a one-man play type thing.
Right.
And so we just recorded it, and it gave him an opportunity to see the recording process and how things are done. It's funny, like with that, you know, we went around and we actually performed it in certain cities.
Kind of like off-Broadway, right?
Yeah, kind of, something like that. And it's so funny because the response is either they thought it was the greatest thing they ever saw and it was funny, or it was the worst thing that ever happened in their life. So, you know, and we put it out on a CD. Some people like it, some people don't. But that's all my music. Like I don't ride the middle. I don't make the same records over. I don't play it safe. It's I make what I make, and I ride or die with it.
You say that you shaped your life so that you wouldn't have to rap for work, rap for food.
Right.
And that you made sure that you would be able to work only on projects that you wanted to.
I try to do that.
How so, man?
A lot of it is I live below my means. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my brother put it perfectly because he understood me. He's like, Paul won't spend $10 until he has $10,000. You know what I'm saying? I've always been that way. Just, hey man, if the lights stay on, if the lights stay on, and I got a house, I got a car, everybody eats. That's way better than it was than how I grew up in the 70s.
Right.
And so I won already.
Right.
So I just put my money away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I still got nice things. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I just don't need to have like
10 chains.
10 chains. And if I do, you know, there was times where I seen cats that was losing their deals, and I seen a chain. I was like, yo, if you want to sell that, I'll buy it off.
Damn.
I'm bargain hunting.
Damn.
Because I know you paid $5,000 for that chain, and I'm going to get it for $500.
Damn.
Because times was hard.
Times was hard.
What?
Run that chain, B.
Yeah. Hey, I win, you win.
Yeah. So right now you're DJing?
Yeah, I'm
You're back to DJing right now.
Yeah, I've been spinning for a minute.
Right.
Like that hasn't slowed down,
Right.
but it hasn't stopped.
How was the Prince Paul party, man?
Depends on when you catch me. If you catch me back in the APT days when I had AV, we had Bring a White Girl Night, which was a smash.
That was a real name.
Oh, it was a real night. And
Bring
it was
a
big.
white girl.
Oh man, and
And brothers were bringing white girls.
and yeah, you bring a white girl, you get in free.
Yo,
Let's bring that back.
that's so Prince Paul, man.
What? Yo, you know how it
That's
got
so Prince Paul.
it got praised and it got flack, so it was so good because it got so much attention.
Right.
You know, oh, the sisters can't with it. Yeah, it was so
No,
weird.
y'all could come, but
Safe though.
Yeah. Hey, you could bring a white girl with you.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't say girl.
right,
can't, you know?
right.
So and it was cool. It was a cool night, and we did well. And you know, nowadays, you know, I spend a lot of the classic stuff. I throw in some of the newer stuff, but
New stuff like who, man?
man, Odd Future. I put it.
I could see you
I think
playing
the last
Odd
time I
Future.
played was like Bobby Schmurder. It's been a minute. You
Right,
know what
right.
I'm saying? Like this one, I haven't figured out exactly when I'm gonna play because I got to spin San Antonio soon. But a little bit of everything. But I try to blend it in seamlessly.
Right.
You know, like I really think about how I sequence my music. I don't like go all willy nilly with it,
Right.
as AV would say. You know, so it's fun, man. The next party, like the next ones I'm doing, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with.
That's dope.
I'm gonna
man.
wild out.
Yeah. What were you doing with Scion, man?
Oh, Scion, I've been doing interviews. It's for ScionAV.com, and it is called The All Purpose Show. And I would get on and interview people that Scion works with. For example, we did Joey Badass. We had Cheech Marion. Man, it's all over the place. Cameron, you know, it's like I said, you know, a lot of like rock and roll bands
Right.
and stuff. So it's cool. It gives me opportunity, one, to learn a lot about this music and appreciate it. I mean, it's funny, like talking to a lot of the young cats, like man, like Vic Mensa and certain people. It's like a lot of stuff I wouldn't know, you know, because there's so much stuff out there.
Right.
But talk to those guys, it gets me interested in the music and then their perception of the music.
Right.
You know, because my thing is, and I've always stood by this, is I don't have to like it, but I always want to understand it.
Right.
I actually like his music.
Right.
But I want to understand it. Like, why do people like it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's the big deal?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yo, what's Brookzell?
Oh, Brookzell. That's the new project. It's actually going to be out on Tommy Boy.
Yo, what is it with you and Tommy Boy, man?
I don't know, man. We just keep kind of coming back. You know, it's like a love-hate thing, man. You know, Tom Silverman, I told him like a while back, like he reaches out to me and was like, hey, Paul, what are you working on? Yeah, I'm working on stuff.
Yeah, right.
Finally, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this project. My man, Rodrigo Brandao, he used to be the Yo MTV Raps
Right.
host for
Right.
Brazil back in the day.
Right.
Ladybug Mecca.
Mm.
And my man, Newkirk.
Newkirk.
Yeah, man, he's always in the fold. And we put this band together, and it's a fusion of like old traditional Brazilian music.
Like what? Stan Getz, João Gilberto?
Oh
Or?
man, we're all in there, man, all day. It's hardcore, and we blend that with the aesthetics of, I hate to say old school hip hop, but kind of like the vibe of that. And we created a sound that I don't think I've heard before. You know, at least my man Rodrigo, who plays it for, you know, the cats in Brazil, is like, yo, this is new. This is like really, really cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. You know, that should be a good project.
What's Super Black?
Super Blacks, me, Jay Zone, and Sasha Jenkins.
Sasha.
Yeah.
You worked with Sasha a lot, huh?
Yeah. Sasha, we did the White Rapper show when I was doing that. Yeah. Sasha he's cool. That was actually his brainchild, and it's Sasha's on bass, Jay Zone's on drums and vocals. I produced it, put it all together, and that's gonna rile up some people because, you know, Jay Zone's kind of going for broke on that.
Right.
He's not sparing any feelings.
Huh.
So it's a real good project. And same thing, I've never heard anything like it before. It like I said, with both of these, either you're gonna hail me as a genius or an idiot.
Right.
There's really no middle ground.
Right.
And I'm willing to live with that.
Yeah.
You know?
You on Netflix? You on a project on Netflix?
Oh man, you got it all. Peabody and Sherman, me and Wordsworth.
The old school Peabody and Sherman?
Yeah. It's the old school, but done in a new school way.
Right.
So we have they animated us, me and Wordsworth, and we did do a little segment in the end. It's called Ferris Wheel, and it's really cool, man. Like, it's really cool to still be working in some capacity after all
Right.
this time, and something like that is pretty cool.
Right. You had a cameo in the breaks.
Ha! Yeah.
How was that, man?
Yo, it was cool. You know, I originally had tried out, and I got a call back. You know, mind you, I'm not an actor for the part that Method Man did
Okay.
to play the dad.
Right.
You know,
Oh, Method Man is such a mean dad.
oh man, he killed it. They got the right guy.
Yeah.
So as a default, I got 2 lines,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was enough to give me a little buzz on the social media, which I'm anti-social media.
Are you really?
Oh man, I'm not anti-social media, but I'm too private for social media. I go on there when I realize I need to. I'm like,
Right.
oh man, I haven't posted anything in a few days. I'm looking for stuff. Oh man, it's difficult because I've always been private. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't like showing people stuff. Yo, that's how you get robbed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't do that. I'm gonna be here. Yo, I got this. Yo, look at this.
Right,
It's
right.
too much.
It's
man.
much, right.
I just want to go home and eat dinner. You know what I'm saying? Make a beat, hang out with your kids, and
Yep.
girl, whatever the case is, and that's it.
You say your records are bitter. You're bitter on your records.
Is that bitter?
Bitter, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you bitter about, man? You've had this successful career. What are you bitter about, man?
Bitter might be a wrong word, and I apologize if I use that. It's always trying to prove to myself that I'm not whack,
Right,
and to others I'm not whack.
right. And that's the tough part about hip hop, huh? You always got to prove that you're not whack,
Yeah,
no matter what you've done.
but
Even with the podcast, like we have to make sure every episode that we're not whack.
you're not whack.
Right.
There's a level of pride in your work
Right.
and your legacy, and you want it to stand the test of time. But what's difficult for me is at the same time I refuse to repeat what I've done, and I refuse to copy.
Right.
So that gives me a very thin lane of people either loving me or hating me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as far as hip hop history goes, I'll be the first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I would dare to say I don't know any producer, especially hip hop producer from my generation, who has done more diverse projects than me.
Nah,
I can't think of anybody.
I can't think of anybody either, man.
Comedy, children's records, rock records.
What children's record?
I did this record called The Dino 5. It came out in 2007, 2008. It's with Wordsworth, Ladybug Mecca, Charlie Tuna, Ursula Rucker. And it has, I'm missing Scratch from the who's being the Roots.
Right.
Yeah, we did, and it won a Parents' Choice Awards, man.
Really?
So yeah, man, like I do a little bit of everything, and like I said, that's the beauty of it. Is to challenge yourself.
Yep.
A lot of producers play safe. Yo, this is my beat. And they run the same style, same kick snares. I'm all over the place. I love music in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds cheesy, and I always say that, but it's the truth. You know?
Prince, what's next for you, man?
Man, beside those records coming out,
Yeah. And when are those records coming out?
I can say sometime this year,
Right.
2016.
On Tommy, but both of them on Tommy.
Nah, just the Brookzills on
Right.
Tommy Boy.
Super Blacks.
Super Black is to be determined.
Okay.
I'm working on another record. I haven't worked on a solo record in a while, but I have a solo record I'm putting out. I have to strategically figure out a way to get it, to put it. I'm gonna give it away, but I'm gonna strategically figure out to give it away.
Right.
I might make a box set this year of just stuff that nobody's ever seen before.
Right.
So it might be a part of that. I don't know. I think that's the beauty. I don't plan too far. Especially career wise.
Right.
I go wherever the inspiration hits me, and I try to save my money at the same
Right,
time.
right. You seem like a really smart dude, man.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Is he a smart dude, man? Smart dude, right?
He's just saying that because he's my boy.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't drink, huh?
Nah, I don't.
And you don't drink. You don't smoke.
I don't smoke. I politics and business tour. I was getting lit.
You were.
That was only for a second.
Right.
But I didn't drink any alcohol until like my 30s, and I probably average
Until your 30s.
to my 30s. I probably average maybe like 10 drinks a year
Right.
at most. You know what I'm saying?
It's something about non-drinkers, man, and non-smokers, man. That there's a brilliance in that, man.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. There's times I wanted to smoke, man. There's times where you're stressed out, your lady stressing you out, things are going bad. But I figured this: if I took on that habit and I made a beat and it was dope, it'd become an expense.
Right.
And I didn't want that expense. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So I
right.
just kind of just left it alone, you know?
Yeah. Top 5
Top,
MCs.
top 5 MCs? Man, that's hard.
It is hard.
Top 5 MCs.
You know, Doom is in my top 5.
I could easily put Doom in my top 5. And he is a part of my top 5.
Yes.
In no particular order, it would have to be Karis 1, Doom. You know, people get mad at me, but LL Cool J.
Why?
Because LL Cool J, with the exception of the last few albums, has always made a record that made me wish I was LL Cool J. Anytime I feel like I want to be an MC, that's impactful.
Right.
I could like get in the mirror like blah 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 blah. I wanted to cut my car like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
That means a lot, and it I grew up with a lot, you know, a lot of this stuff. The original Rock the Bells, that's brilliant.
Yes.
That's
3.
I would have to, man, it gets really difficult. Trying to figure out who do I listen to a lot. I could easily go old school, but I'm not gonna go too old school.
Right.
Man, I wish I could put De La as one MC.
I mean, you can.
Okay, De La Soul.
De La Soul, amazing.
And people are gonna don't see this, but I see the brilliance in him. Is the RZA. Yeah, because there's stuff that we've done and stuff I heard him rhyme that nobody's ever heard. That to me, to this day,
That's a great list, man. That's a great list.
You know, it's a
great top. This is a great top 5, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, man.
Hey, man, we can continue talking all night, man, but this has been great, Paul. I mean, this has been long in the making. I'm glad you finally made it.
I'm happy I'm here because people have always, when you gonna be on the Combat Jack show
today?
Yeah, and it finally happened.
Yes,
and I'm glad to be here, man.
Any regrets, man?
Any regrets? Besides some of the women I've dealt with?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think all the bad and all the good puts me where I'm at now.
Right.
And I'm at peace with myself. I mean, man, a lot of years, man, I would just be upset and angry and just like, man, why this and why me? And, you know, even when my mom passed, I couldn't figure that out. And, you know, you go through divorce, you go through this, go through that.
You went through a divorce?
Oh, what? I can't talk about it.
Right.
But you know, I
didn't know you were married.
Oh, yeah. I was married for a while.
Right.
It made me who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Made me stronger.
Yes.
Made me a lot wiser.
Right.
And it made me a lot more calm.
Right.
You know.
Were you not calm?
I was antsy, man. I was like anxious.
Were you breaking shit?
Nah. Just anxious. You know, like because you know what the problem is a lot of people do, and I'm at fault, is you live so much in the future instead of the now. So you're anticipating everything that's going to go wrong or could go wrong.
Right.
And if you're a guy who's very analytical, you're breaking everything down. Like, if I say this, he's going to say this. If I do this, this is going to happen. And you're so far deep into it, and it didn't even happen.
Right.
And sometimes,
you just got to be.
Yeah, you got to be. You got to live in the moment.
Yeah.
I try to live in the moment now. I mean, God bless, you know, his soul, Big Cap. I mean, come on, man.
Damn, Big Cap is crazy.
He was doing preparing to do a party next day.
That's crazy. No, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine you spend your last day, oh God, he's just stressing out. Living the now. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. One last question, man, actually. How was it, man, when Tupac had beef with y'all, man? With De La?
Oh, I had no part of that.
You had no part of that.
Nah, I didn't even know they had beef.
Right.
This is news to me. You know, but he might have called him out, right?
He called him out, yeah.
Hey, man, good for them.
De La Soul, flabby as fuck or some shit.
Hey, man, I think probably at the point, was I working with them still?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I think it was after Balloon Mindset.
Yeah. It was, I had no parts of
right,
that, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, God bless Tupac, man.
Yeah.
You know, thug life.
Thug life. Yo, very good, man. Paul, thanks so much, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. I hope you feel better soon.
No, thank you, man. I hope so, too.
And I'm going to keep a friendly distance, no disrespect.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Yo, King, man.
Yo.
What's up?
Catalog, baby.
Catalog
is sick. I'm about to go back, you know what I mean, revisit some albums.
Oh, Jesus.
What's your favorite album, man, other than the Gravediggers?
That I've worked on?
Yeah, that you've worked on. You said the Gravediggers, right?
Man, that's probably like
your top 5 albums that you worked on.
Oh God, Gravediggers,
yes,
Prince Among Thieves,
great album.
3 Feet High and Rise.
Yes.
De La Soul's Dead has had some fun times, and people are gonna freak out when I say this. Psychoanalysis, man. Like Psychoanalysis was a depression album.
Right.
Anytime but those records chronicle all the times in my life. So when I listen to them, I get something way different out of it than everybody else does.
Right.
It's whatever I was going through at the time. And that record, I was like, I thought my life was over.
Yeah. Actually, going back, we were talking about Everlast. Playing a cop.
Yeah.
A racist cop. He was real he was nervous about doing it.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it,
Right.
man. He was like, but people are going to think it's like, yo, it's acting.
It's acting.
I really had to push it's acting, man. You got to go there. You got to be mad racist. Like, but you know this isn't me, right?
Yeah.
Like, nah, I know it's not you.
Didn't you get like some offers to direct shit afterwards?
I had a meeting with Miramax to like write.
Right.
And I had a Nickelodeon. I was working on a cartoon at Nickelodeon.
Right.
And then Viacom, whatever, had their little thing go on. Everybody got fired that was working on the cartoon. That got shelved.
That was it.
The Miramax thing, I just never took it serious.
Right.
Like, it's a shame, man. Like, I'm a great artist, but I'm bad for business because
you're an artist.
I go by my gut.
You're an artist, man.
I just want to be happy.
Right.
And money doesn't always equate happiness.
No, not at all.
It helps.
It helps.
But
it's a hell of a down payment.
It definitely helps, but I just rather be me. As long as I could eat, I got clothing, my kids are happy, I could supersize. We could go out. I could treat you right now to a good meal and supersize you, and not worry about making rent.
Right.
I'm good.
You're good.
That's all I need.
Very good, sir. Very good, sir. Thank you, man. Yo, King, what we doing? Taking this out. Man. Yo, internet, life, you know what it is, man. Dream those dreams and then glow up and live those dreams. Because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Blow.
Numinati!
This episode of the Combat Jack Show was produced by Jonathan Mena, executive produced by A. King and Chris Morrow, engineered by Samir Karan, and recorded in the Engine Room Audio Studio in downtown Manhattan. This is an official Loudspeakers Networks production.
I hope you bum-ass motherfuckers ain't ever more than a podcast. I don't give a fuck if you play it or not, bitch-ass bums. I unsubscribe to all your shit, and I ask my best 10 people that fuck with y'all to stop fucking with y'all. I just finished listening to that interview with that slimy, guinea fuck piece of shit, Michael Dowd. I'm calling live from the 7-5. This is East New York. You motherfuckers got a lot of nerve embracing that motherfucker. You black smurf, you Haitian fuck you Haitian piece of shit. That's your new name, Haitian defecation, man. You interviewed this dude. You're the only black asshole that fucking embraced this dude. And you on the video taking pictures with this motherfucker, calling him official? How is he official, man? He preyed on the black community, man. You know how many arrests was overturned and convictions was overturned and vacated because of this slimy piece of shit? This guinea fuck. A dirty cop is worse than a fucking snitch, man. What the fuck is wrong with y'all giving this guy a platform, man? I understand why the white guys do it, but when you do it, and then you be talking about all this old black upliftment and black unity, all this bullshit. Yo, real talk, man, do yourself a favor, man. Don't speak to no more black issues. Don't talk about none of that shit. Just do your fucking bullshit-ass podcast, man. For real, man, because you sound like a true, and you a fucking Sigma. You just a fucking internet troll that got just in the fucking media by luck, man. You don't have no integrity. You don't have no fucking principles. I don't even how the fuck you sat down with this dude and fucking embracing this fucking cocksucker. I don't understand that shit. You a Sigma? This is the reason why the fucking black college fraternities, and that's why the shit is the way it is. There's no leadership. You a part of a frat? You give the whole fucking frat a bad name, man. Yo, man, I hope an earthquake hits your house, man. You can go back to Haiti in the raft. Your mom came on, man. You are the worst, man. You are the fucking worst. You are Haitian defecation, man. You are the fucking worst. Word up, man. You motherfuckers, man. Y'all just don't get it, man. I could tell you're in the street, dude, man. You keep saying you're a lawyer, man. You say that 100 fucking times. How many times you gonna tell us you're a fucking lawyer? Yeah, you know you're in the street, dude. You don't got no fucking principles, man. This guy, yo, man, telling you, man. You tell that butt plug boy, your little butt plug boyfriend, yo, man, if he shows his face in East New York again, man, I don't think it's going to be pretty, man. Word up. Fuck you and fuck your show, man. And fuck your Twitter, fuck all that shit. And P.S., fuck that new goofy bitch, too. Fucking King Kong bunny looking bitch. Fuck bitch.